Today, I've got something that will not only shock you, but truly touch your heart as well. Have you ever wondered what would happen if a man saved a lion cub, raised her, then had to return her to the wild? What if they met again after a whole year? Can a wild animal remember and even recognize its human savior after all that time? Well, prepare to be astonished as we unravel the amazing story of a man named Adolfo and a lioness named Ara. Their unique bond and the love they share will make you question everything you think you know about wild animals. It all started on a Monday morning in Tijuana, Mexico. Adolfo, gearing up for a fishing trip, quickly gathered his equipment and headed into the jungle, about 20 kilometers from his home. As he settled in, hoping to catch some fish, he heard rustling sounds approaching his position. Holding his weapon tightly, he prepared to defend himself against any potential threat. But what emerged from the bushes left him speechless. It was a small, dirty lioness with a visible wound on her right paw. Surprisingly, she didn't show any signs of hostility, but was clearly starving. In that moment, Adolfo's heart melted, and he decided to lower his guard. He even had the idea to offer one of his freshly caught fish to the hungry little lioness. Without hesitation, she eagerly accepted the meal, devouring it in no time. It was clear that she hadn't eaten for days. Adolfo realized that if he left her abandoned and injured in the jungle, she wouldn't stand a chance of survival on her own. So, he made a compassionate decision to take her home, nurture her, and provide the care she needed until she could fend for herself. Adolfo gently cradled the exhausted lioness in his arms, and together they made their way back home. Once there, he nursed her back to health, fed her, and as time went by, trained her. Despite the warnings from family and friends about the dangers of having a lion as a pet, Adolfo brushed them off and decided to keep her. He named her Kiara, inspired by one of his favorite movies, The Lion King. As days turned into months, their bond grew stronger. Adolfo and Kiara had developed an incredible connection, understanding each other with just a glance. It became a tradition for Adolfo to take Kiara along on his fishing trips every Monday. However, their happiness wasn't meant to last forever. Kiara was growing rapidly. The small cub that once weighed only 10 kilograms had transformed into a 60-kilogram lioness. The places she used to fit into easily were now impossible for her to access. The amount of food that used to sustain her for a week now only lasted a day. Neighbors, who initially found Kiara adorable when she was a cub, became concerned and fearful as she grew bigger. They worried about the potential dangers if she were to escape one day. After all, as a wild animal, she could become unpredictable. Adolfo's love for Kiara was immense, but he knew deep down that she belonged in the wild, not in his home. Reluctantly, he made the heart-wrenching decision to take her to the Black Jaguar White Tiger Foundation, a sanctuary known for providing a home to large cats, dogs, and other animals. The day of their separation arrived, and it was a tough one for both Adolfo and Kiara. As if she understood what was happening, Kiara clung to Adolfo, showering him with affection. Tears streamed down their faces as they said their goodbyes. Adolfo promised her that he would visit and never forget her. Kiara looked at him with sad eyes, licking him as if it was her way of saying a temporary farewell. She knew deep down that this might be their last goodbye, at least for now, and she wanted to show him her love and gratitude for taking care of her all this time. And so, Adolfo left her in her new home, ensuring he provided all the necessary instructions to her new caretakers. Months went by, and Adolfo couldn't stop thinking about his beloved lioness. Although he longed to visit her, he understood that it would complicate her adaptation to the sanctuary. With a heavy heart, he resisted the urge to rush to the shelter and see his little cub. He knew he had to be patient. 365 days had passed since Kiara had arrived at the sanctuary. She had grown into a magnificent adult lioness, standing at 1 meter tall and weighing a whopping 150 kilograms. Her caretakers were amazed by her strength and fierce behavior, as if she had grown up in the wild. She didn't allow anyone to get too close, expressing her discomfort with powerful roars. Adolfo knew it was finally time for their reunion. He made all the arrangements, even announcing it on social media, wanting to share this special moment with everyone. Dressed in the same outfit he wore when he first met Kiara, Adolfo arrived at the Black Jaguar White Tiger Sanctuary in Monterrey, accompanied by his wife. The caretakers recognized him immediately. After all, who could forget the person who brought in a fully grown lioness? They warned him to be cautious, as Chiara had become somewhat wary over time. But Adolfo brushed off their concerns, as he knew deep down that she would never harm him in any way. They led him to the area where Chiara was, and as he stood behind the enclosure, he called her name with all his might. Instantly, she appeared, just like she used to when they lived together. The lioness seemed to recognize her adoptive father's voice, roaring with excitement and rushing towards the fence. The caretakers were concerned, unsure whether those roars expressed happiness or a warning. They feared for Adolfo's safety. Adolfo himself momentarily hesitated, unsure if Chiara would remember him or how she would react if he got closer. All these thoughts raced through his mind. But in the end, the love he felt for his lioness outweighed any doubts. He chose to trust the bond they had formed over the years they spent living together. Ignoring the warnings from the caretakers, he asked them to open the gate so he could approach Chiara. And what happened next left everyone, including Adolfo, speechless. As soon as he got close, Chiara pounced on him, wrapping her huge paws around him and showering him with licks. Unable to bear her weight, Adolfo fell to the ground, but they remained locked in a tight embrace, a heartwarming scene that brought tears to the eyes of everyone present. Amazed by what they witnessed, the onlookers quickly grabbed their cameras, capturing this extraordinary moment. They couldn't believe how an animal that many considered wild could display such love and affection towards a human. This scene, engraved in their minds forever, reaffirmed the powerful bond that can be formed between different species. Adolfo continues to visit Chiara whenever he can, cherishing the unique connection they share. This story will go down in history as a testament to the incredible bond that can exist between a wild animal and a human. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think such a bond could be replicated between another animal species and a human? What did you think of Chiara's reaction? Would you have the courage, like Adolfo, to raise a lion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button to let us know you're enjoying our content and to encourage us to create more videos like this. See you next time.